All right. Um, Greetings, all. Um, Rest in peace, young Dolph, man. Rest in peace, young Dolph. Man, I've been pretty much talking about this all day on my different channels. So, man, I've been, I'm dreading talking about this, but we got to deal with it. This is getting old. This is getting very, very old. And see, we seen this happen with Nip. We seen it happen already. And it's unfortunate because it's they say, why do the good die young, and things of that nature. And in all essence, I mean, anybody, dies young, really. Anybody could die young. It really doesn't come down to being good or bad, but we just feel it more when it's the good ones because it doesn't make any sense. See? And this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Dolph, man, the reports, let me pull up the reports. It's crazy, man. They said that he was at a bakery picking up some cookies. It was a cookie based bakery. And let me pull it up. But this was in Tennessee, in Memphis. And in all lessons, what happened? Someone just rolled up and shot him. Now we know they were black. All right, let's get that out the way. We know this wasn't a high level person. This wasn't a special ops operative or anything of that nature. It wasn't a sniper shot. Someone just drove by and shot him. All right, so this is street activity. It's just a hater. It's a hater. Call it what you want. It's a hater. Someone just shot him for no reason. And of course there is reason behind it. But I'm not here to vent, even though you're gonna get a little bit of that. I'm not here to rant, even though you're gonna get a little bit of that. I'm here to bring up solutions. And many may say, well, shouldn't you let people mourn before you bring up solutions? Are their minds gonna be able to keep up with you? Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. Morning is the best time to be presented with solutions because you still feel it. See, it's just going to be a matter of time before people get used to this, before they equate this scenario with Nipsey Hussle's scenario, with Pop Smoke, with Fred the Godson. It's only going to be a matter of time before they start factoring this one in with those, with Pac, with Biggie. It's only going to be a matter of time before people start seeing this as the same thing, which it is, but they're going to start feeling the same way about it because they can relate this scenario to another one and they can say, well, it's kind of common. So at least this isn't something that has never happened before. And there's already false consolation. Why? Because this is just, it's a survival tactic that people do concerning mentality. See? So when you let time go by, that saying that time heals, that's very true. Time will heal the scenario. But do you want to be healed when you move on a scenario? Do you want to be healed when you put something together that's going to keep you from being wounded again? Or do you put one foot in front of the other as you're healing? See? And that's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. Now see this, I didn't even pay attention to this. They say young Dolph and Juice WRLD were cousins. That's a little interesting. And if I'm not mistaken, Juice WRLD, he OD'd. He died due to narcotics. He overdosed, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, this is interesting, man. This is interesting. Dolph was 36. Juice was 21. And they're cousins. We got to figure out what's going on here. We got to figure out what's going on. What is going on? What is this? See? Now, I took a look at this this spot that Dolph went to at the scene, or the scene rather, and I'm looking at this via maps, and it doesn't look like a crazy area, right? But you could tell that it's not across the street from the Hilton or the Ritz or any of the plazas. You know, you could tell that the Marriott, you know, you have to do a little bit of driving to get to those from here. See? Excuse me. But yeah, I'm looking at the scene. You have 99-cent store, laundromat, liquor store, laundromat. Yeah, there it is. Liquor store, gas station, churches, laundromat. Yeah. So, in all essence, Dolph had no business being here, man. He had no business being here. I'm looking at the spot. There's the spot next to this joint is boarded up. The spot next to the Makitas, homemade butter cookies, right? It's boarded up. There's a little bit of graffiti on the spot. What am I saying? What am I bringing this up for? Dolph had no business being here, man. The reports read that it was, he had 4.4 million followers on IG. So you could slice it in half. You could say, all right, at best, on a best year, that's 2.2 haters, at least. 2.2 haters. 4.4 followers on IG. Slice it in half, that's at least 2.2 haters on a good year. And if we're going to be more realistic, it's really 3.3. Because those are the statistics. So how do you have that many followers? How do you have that much influence and not have this happen to you? Layers, man. Layers. You have to set layers between yourself and others. Now, I spoke about this on a more immediate level, when one doesn't have this much notoriety and influence. I spoke about the importance of layers when you're just being an honest, tax-paying citizen. See? But when you have this much influence, man, you need layers. You need layers. When someone wants to reach you, they have to get to somebody, to get to somebody, to get to somebody that's going to wonder if they should even bother you with that. See? Dolph was a king, man. He was a king. I'm liking this video, Royalty. That was that video. That was what really put me on to Dolph. Actually, it was the Porsche joint that he did with 2 Chainz and Juicy J. And man, that joint really, that was my put on for Dolph. And what I liked about it is I could tell that this brother thought different. He thought different. Or he would think differently. His mentality was different. I like that scene where he's with DC Young Fly and they're in this nice I believe that was a condo, right? And they're walking down the stairs and they have these beautiful models that are pouring out these rose petals for them as they're walking down the stairs. And the hilarious DC Young Fly, he's complaining. He's like, man, what is this type stuff, man? This is crazy. It looks like we're coming to the altar. What is this? And young Dolph said, no, man, no. This is some coming to America type stuff, man. Not everybody lives like this. Not everybody gets to do this. See? What was young Dolph trying to do there? He was trying to get the character that young DC Fly was playing, see, because it's a character they were acting, but he was trying to get that character to see. You want to think higher. This is what you want to be used to. This is the type of living that you want to be used to. This is what is available for us. He was trying to get this young brother to think like royalty, to think like a king. And of course, the material things, those aren't the things that makes a king. We all know that. But he was at least trying to get this brother to be inspired to have king-like thinking. Now, of course, young DC Fly, he Of course, he lives a little royal himself. His brother came up since Wildin' Out. So, of course, they were just acting. But for him to put that in his video that way, that was pretty impressive to me. And then what does he do? He comes out with another song called Royalty. And that's all he's talking about in the song. He just chimes in on the matter. This is how you want to think. This is how you want to live. This is how you want to carry yourself. And he's keeping it real at the same time. See? We're going to deal with that real part, though. We're going to deal with that. Because as we're learning very rapidly, there's more to being real than many people think. There's more to being real than many people think. All the young bucks, all the young shooters, the goons, they're the ones that shout, keep it real, keep it real. And because we love these people, because we respect them, because we have honor for them, we follow suit. Blindly, we follow suit. All that matters is that you keep it real. You remember where you came from and this and that and that and this. Great things that they do matter in life. See? But it wasn't until I started sitting with the OGs and sitting at their table a little more. Started ditching the cool table and started sitting with the elders. See? Started listening to the patriarchs. It wasn't until I started sitting at that table until I started hearing a different philosophy. And it was almost night and day. Screw the streets. Screw respect. Screw the game. Screw the action. Screw where you came from. Screw it. Screw it all. That's what the patriarchs, that's what time they're on. That's what they believe. That's how they live. That's how the OGs live. That's how they carry themselves. And guess what? They're all still here. Now, when you're hearing that from a young shooter that is still making a name for himself, that's hard to stomach. But when you're hearing that from someone that's seen it all, they've been through it all, they've done it all, and they succeeded in squaring things up, when it's coming from them, it makes it very easier to digest. See? Why? Because with their experience, they've crushed it up for you. They already crushed it up for you. It's easy for you to chew now. The question is, how long are we going to need someone to chew our food for us? When are we going to decide to allow our teeth to toughen, to strengthen? When are we going to move off the nipple and start putting a fork in steak? When? This is big, man. This is big. There has to be layers. I seen the battle rapper, Math Hoffa. He was chiming in on this. I remember when he was chiming in on Nip. And he had great words to say about that. great wisdom on that. And what Math was saying was he should have had some security. When do you hear of, in the news, when do you hear, or how often do you hear, rapper got shot that was surrounded by his security? Rapper got shot with his security. How often do you hear that in the reports? And rappers keep getting shot. Why? See, a little boy may look at this scenario and say, I hate haters. I hate haters. All these haters, they need to go somewhere. Oh, I can't stand haters. And of course, that's absolutely innocent. That's absolutely righteous to feel that way. But see, a man, a king, will look at this scenario and bring responsibility in. That's exactly what we're doing here. We're dealing with this on a king level, and many may not be willing or ready to digest this, but it's the truth. Dolph had no business being there. That's the reality. That's the truth. See? This may have been a one-time occurrence. I honestly believe it may have been a routine for him, that he'll come down there every once in a while. Because for him to be at this spot and for someone to drive around, know that he was going to be there, and then just unload on him, there had to be some kind of a routine here where he believed that no one noticed that he would do this, that no one noticed his routine. But in reality, someone's been watching. See? What's my solution to this? Because, believe it or not, there is a solution to this. It's a very ancient solution, actually, and it's very simple. But what's the solution? See, issues are complicated. Answers are simple. Issues are not going to be in your face. They're never going to be in your face. Not if you're going to accept them. It's the low-level issues that you could see coming a mile away. The low-level ones. The ones that really wouldn't have much of an effect on your life. You can see them a mile away and you just turn them away. But the issues that could take you down, that could take you out, oh, you gotta watch your back 24/7 for those. Why? Because they're disguised. See, if you're in a club, right? Nightclub, and you have people that don't like you. We're not talking about on a heavy level here, not on a level of violence, just someone that doesn't like you, someone that you don't like talking to. Let's just take it there, just for the sake of the example. If this nightclub was dead, if there was no one in there, you could see them from the moment that they walk into the door, that they walk through the door. You can see them automatically. Why? There's nothing to distract you from them. But let it be a night, one of those nights especially if it's one of those dark nightclubs. One of those nights where people are brushing shoulders. There's a celebrity or whatever in town. And the DJ just announced that he's going to be on his way to the club, and everyone just packs this place out. That would be a perfect opportunity for this person that you don't like to get to you. Why? Because there's no way you're going to be able to recognize when they're in the building. There's no way you're going to be able to recognize when they're staring at you, staring in the whites of your eyes. There's too many people in front of you. Too many people between you and them. Too many distractions. And it's like a playground. They could find out, okay, should I approach them from the front? Should I sneak up behind them and creep up on them from the rear? Maybe I should do this one from the angle. Yeah. Complicated. The issues are complicated. That's the best tool that issues can bring to you is complication. Distractions. See? But the truth, answers, solutions, they're very simple. Very, very simple. See, the obese person knows what their issue is. They know what the answer is, rather. They know what the answer is to their obesity. They know how to stop the obesity. That's not the problem. The problem is when they have to go to the store to get something to eat, and they have their plan of what they want to eat to fix the obesity. But they walk by their favorite aisle that has their favorite donuts. And they can smell the donuts. They're being cooked on the spot. And they say, oh, I'm not supposed to go down here. Let me just take a look. And as they look, in a big bright sign, it says, 12 of these suckers for $1. 12 for $1. Or really it's 12 for $12, 12 for 10. So a donut per dollar, and then 2 free ones. I remember the first time I seen one of those signs, I said, someone's trying to kill me. Someone does not like me. Someone does not like people to be feeding this to people. See? That person knows how to deal with that obesity issue. They know how to deal with it. It's when they walk in the stores, when those distractions come to them. That's what makes it hard for them to fix the issue. And it's the same thing with this Pac situation, this Big situation, this Pop Smoke situation, this Nipsey Hussle situation, this young Dolph situation. And see, I'm not even going to go into Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. I'm not even going to go into that. But it was the same thing. Same thing. See? It's always by your own people that see their self in you. And they just don't choose to respect you. They don't choose to honor you. They don't choose to be happy for you. They choose to envy you. They choose to be jealous against you. So what's the solution? It's the solution to all issues. Go to God. It's simple. Go to God. Some may say, well, we've tried that. We've tried that. We've tried going to God. We tried praying to Him and not getting an answer from the sky. We tried it. And nothing happened. Well, I have a very brief but brute response to that. You're not supposed to try nothing with God. God doesn't answer to trying. He answers to obedience. You don't try God out. You could try out a pair of shoes. You could try out a car before you buy it. You can even try out your spouse. That's why most people have intercourse or mate before they get married, right? They want to try each other out before they get married, right? You can try those things out. You don't try God out. You don't try God. Once you understand that, then you go back to Him with that mentality. You understand, oh, this is the solution. This is the solution. What happened to young Dolph? Let's be honest. Let's be real. We've listened to our friends. We've listened to our mentors. We've listened to the psychologists. We listened to all the experts. We've listened to Google, YouTube, Elon Musk. We've listened to everybody. But we haven't listened to God. That's the only one that we haven't listened to. See, some people, they try God out and things work for them. God answers them. Some people, they try God out and He doesn't answer them. Well, what's the reason for that? Is He playing favorites? No. No. Some people, they have a do or die mentality. They have a do or die mentality. Or in other words, as 50 said, they're willing to get rich or die trying. They're willing to succeed or die trying. There's a lot of logic in that. There's a lot of power in that. In understanding that one could carry that mentality to do something or die trying. Some people come to God with that. So even if they're trying, they're 100% in with that. God could work with that. See? But the majority of people don't have that mentality today now, do they? So when they go to God, they don't get nothing. They don't get any answers. Excuse my broken English, but this is one of those videos. Like I said, I'm dreading this one, but it has to be dealt with. What happened to Dolph, it keeps happening to successful black men. Why? Why? Because no one thinks that they need God. No one thinks that they need God these days. See, if I were to ask any of you, name to me right now all of the godly men, the men of God that you know or you've even seen in the media that you wouldn't mind taking advice from. You couldn't even fill your one hand up. You couldn't even count them all on one hand. Now some may say I beg to differ. Well, just wait until I explain to you my definition of what a godly man is. Now let's see you count again. Wouldn't even be able to fill up one hand. And that's what we're facing. Why? Most people don't have that do or die mentality. And they don't have that do or die mentality towards God. So what do you expect? Young Dolph was a king, man. He was a king. And sometimes, yeah, kings have to get off the throne and they have to be amongst the people. But we can see what's happening to kings when they get off their throne and they're amongst the people. This isn't a time, day, or world where the people riot whenever a king is taken out. See, this isn't that time. These aren't those days. These aren't those days where the people volunteer to protect kings whenever they're amongst the people. These aren't those days. And these aren't those days where kings are telling each other, where they're having discussions like this to reinstill into their fellow kings that when they're in the presence of the common folk, that they need to have some form of layers. That means security. Security. This is king talk. If your mind can't go here, you should probably check out some of my other videos first and then come back. But I can't slow down anymore. I can't build up anymore. The people don't need that. They need the deep stuff. They need the heavy stuff. No more milk. The people need steak. See. See, if we pay attention really to God, all the answers are there. How does God carry himself? How does God deal with us? When we send one prayer to God, any prayer, if you're living for him, does he get off of his throne whenever you lift your hands and you're getting ready to pray? Does he get off of his throne? Does he come into your room while you're praying so that he can hear what you have to say No. He sends his spirit. He sends his spirit to hear whatever you have to say. If it's righteous, if it's based on his word, his spirit takes it up and delivers it to him personally. If what you're saying, if what you're praying to him has nothing to do with his word or has nothing to do with him, his spirit says, we're not going to bother him with that. But his spirit is still there. See, layers. Now, if God, which is not vulnerable to anything or anyone, has layers, who are we to not have layers? Who are we? When people start looking up at you, when people know you and know your name, when people know your government that you have never met, I'm sorry, you need layers. You need security when you're in public. That hater isn't crying. The one that did this to Dolph. He's not losing sleep. Not for this. He's not saying, I've killed a black man today. He's saying, I killed a God. That's what he's saying. Why? Because that's how he's seen Dolph. He's seen him as a God version of himself. See, haters don't hate on people that they don't think used to be where they are. They don't hate on people that they think were born with whatever they have. They don't hate on them. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, they'll hate on them too, but that's not who they put all of their attention towards. No, they need someone that reminds them of their self. They need someone that is a perfect project for them to say, what is it about this person that caused them to succeed in life? While I'm here having to go through this, you know what? If I had to go through this, so does that person. So does that person. And if I can't take what they have and enjoy what they have, I could keep them from enjoying it. This is dark philosophy, but it's how the hater thinks. See, a lot of folks, they believe that they can live life without God and still manage. They like the dark stuff. People are getting into dark stuff. You'll see sane, regular people putting 666 on their gamer tags and their IDs and their different accounts. People are getting influenced and involved into the dark stuff. Juicy J, which was rapping with young Dolph in a couple of songs. He was a part of a group called 3-6 Mafia. If you don't think that you need God, you're going to be into dark stuff, whether you realize it or not. See? And people don't think that they need God, so they enjoy the dark stuff while it's there, while they can. Until they realize that they're on the same team with haters. Until the haters arise. See, on this earth, you may not be on the same team as haters. That may not be your circle. You may not even be surrounded by haters. You may be one of the fortunate ones that has no haters in your circle. But spiritually speaking, you're on the same team. Why? Because you all have something very detrimental in common. You don't live for God. Do you have to be a monk? No. You don't have to be a monk. You just got to take a little more of your energy into learning godly matters and practicing them in your life. Why? It keeps you from stuff like this. This is getting old, man. It's getting old. Where's the real man at? Where's the kings? I know you guys are out there. I know y'all hear me. It's time to dust off your thrones. It's time for us to rise together. As I'm streaming right now, as this is being posted, well, whatever time that you're watching this, there's other kings that are speaking on the same thing. And many of us have the same thing to say about this. I'm calling out to those that don't recognize their kingship, that don't recognize their manhood. You have to be a man before you're a king. Remember that. Some of you, you've taken up the office of king and you don't even realize it. The moment you put seed into a woman, you signed up to be a king. Responsibility and all. That's why when that child gets older, as a matter of fact, a lot of it starts while the child is still a minor. But that's why you're getting blamed for a lot of stuff that you never signed up for. Why? Because you signed up for a responsibility that you didn't intend to sign up for. See, when you were having fun with that girl, with that young lady, in your mind, you was just having fun. You just trying her out. Seeing if this is the girl that you want in your stable or whatnot. But spiritually speaking, you are making a covenant with her. A covenant. A covenant where you would walk into with the automatic office of king. And if she's crazy, I have bad news for you. You just signed her up to be in the office of queen to you. Physically and spiritually. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. We're going to get to that on another note. But we have to do this. We have to. Dolph was a king. His death, it was with no glory. There was no glory behind this. There's no glory, there's no bragging rights to how he went out. There are soldiers that are dying on the other side of the world, fighting for resources that are becoming exempt in the global economy. And they are leaving with more glory and honor than this. We gotta stop this, people. We have to stop this. Kings, you are needed in this day more than ever. Take hold of your crown. Take hold of your throne and get to work. Because it's up to us. It's not up to the women. It was never mankind's responsibility to be dependent on the woman. And it was never the woman's responsibility to grant dependence to other people. Children aren't even supposed to depend on their mothers for some of the things that they are today. Children, they're not even supposed to depend on women for some of these things. So it's not up to them. This isn't a matter that you can pacify with emotion. Think about all the single mothers in the hood. All the single mothers. All that love that's coming from these single mothers. That's going into the kids. And somehow, some way, these kids are managing to find an interest in guns, drugs, and Lord knows what else. And they're finding a way to destroy each other with these things. All that love from these single mothers. And these kids are still killing each other, destroying each other, and at younger rates now. How? How is that possible? Because the environment is not based on the women. The environment is based on the men. And with men, there shall always be leadership. Young boys don't kill each other in the hood because there's no love, because everyone's angry. Just listen to everyone's solutions, what their hypotheses are. Their hypothesis is concerning these things. Oh, it's too much anger. It's not enough love. It's not enough peace. That's all emotion. These are women coming up with these articles. Women coming up with these doctrines. I love our women. We all should. I'm not even gonna. Some say we shouldn't even be nice to our women. I say we should. I believe we should be nice to our women. But we shouldn't be leading with them. We shouldn't be looking to them for leadership. No, men is up to you. Kings is up to you. Because our women are fed up for doing something that some kings should have been doing. Anyway. Augustus, you're getting off topic. No, I'm not. This is the topic. This is the issue. I'm not going to sit here and rant and cry about losing a king. I'm going to give knowledge. I'm full of anger. I'm not going to lie. I'm angry about this. But I'm not ashamed of my anger. I sin not with my anger. As you all should. But I'm not going to sit and mope and cry and not have any solutions concerning this. No. I'm going to handle this as a king. I'm going to call on all the other kings. And we're going to have committee. We're going to go to committee concerning this. And we're going to come up with some solutions. Not speculation. not educated guesses or guessing. Solutions. Much love to the family of young Dolph. Condolences. I send my condolences to you guys. And we're all going to keep you guys lifted up in prayer. Praying that you guys get the peace of God, not any random stuff. No, the peace of God that surpasses all understanding. And young Dolph, rest in peace, man. Royalty and peace. Royalty and peace. Something has to be done. Before I leave you guys, I'm going to say this. We have to stop focusing on branches. When we see a tree that's in our way, we can't clip the branches. The branches aren't our problem. They're the result of our problem. We have to get heavy-duty machines, mechanical machines, to dig up the roots. Sometimes you have to go feet down. Sometimes you have to go meters down. Sometimes you have to go miles down to get all of the roots. And it's not until you dig the roots up, until you can actually observe each stem of the roots. Each root, you could observe them and say, oh, this is how this got here. Oh, this is how this happened. Oh, this is what this was doing behind my back. See? You have to dig it up first. You can't observe roots when the tree is still there, because you don't see them on the surface. Many roots that are in the way, they're covered by beautiful grass, by beautiful plants, beautiful soil, and they actually contribute good things to the environment. But their overall cause is evil. See, we got to dig up the roots. How do you do that? You go to God. You go to God, like I said. You pray to God. You pray to God. And you don't just pray. You get in the Word. And you don't just get in the Word, you pray. Why? Because your prayer is only going to be as strong as your knowledge of the Word. So if you pray and nothing gets through to God, you probably don't know His Word enough. And then once you learn the Word, you have to pray. Why? Because if you keep reading without praying, He's not going to show you or reveal anything to you based on what you're reading. He's not going to reveal anything that you're reading. You're going to be equivalent to the Bible school scholar that asks people, thinking that he's being smart, thinking that he's being wise, but he asks people, how could a serpent talk to a woman when serpents don't talk? And why would God tell this serpent to crawl on his belly when that's what serpents do? That's dark philosophy. That's absolutely degrading or insulting the Word of God. But people do that out of their own logic. Why? Because they don't have God revealing that scripture to them. So you have to pray too. You can't just read it. And you have to read the word. You can't just pray. And you can't just pray. You have to obey. You have to remember what God used Samuel to say to Saul when Saul started acting up. He said, it's okay that you're sacrificing, but you should have obeyed God, because obedience is better than sacrifice. So you could pray all you want. You could read the word all you want. If you're not obeying it, it doesn't matter. Your prayers are for naught. See? That's why if you look at the 50s and the 60s up, there was this real boom of church mothers, of church women, because they were either A, single mothers that they were in the church and they were single mothers and their man was nowhere to be found, or they were widows of someone that fought in the war, or there were women that had men that were fighting in the war that were actually obeying, right? They were putting one foot in front of the other. That's a whole nother story. But the women, they were praying because they needed some form of therapy, knowing that their provider was on somewhere in the other side of the world, shooting at somebody that, they can't even understand. See? So that's why there was a boom of church mothers. All the women had a reason to pray. And the men were out there putting in work. But guess what? Those church mothers weren't obedient. Why? It's not the woman's role to provide. It's not the woman's role to be the champion. It's not the woman's role to protect. That's the man's role. And it's not the woman's role. I'm very careful with this, because this is cancel culture. I'm very careful with this. But it's not the woman's role to give out command. It's the woman's role to follow command of a man. And not just a man, her king. The least she could do is to make sure that she's following the lead of a king, which is a man of God. See, that's the least that she could do. This is getting old, man. This is getting old. Where I'm from, the majority of people that hurt other black folks, they're hurting at least a third cousin. It's at least a third cousin. At least. So you have all these corpses, all these graves, all these shootings, all these killings, and everyone are distant cousins in this same area. Some may say, oh man, where are you from? That must be in the... It's not just where I'm from. The majority of projects in America are built just that way. It keeps you in and it keeps you from leaving. So when you have 3 generations, by the time you hit the 5th generation, everyone's cousins. Everyone's cousins. See? So we have to look at this. We have to pay attention. This stuff doesn't happen on accident. This was supposed to be a quick video, man, but wisdom isn't quick. You have to chew on wisdom. You have to sip it. You have to savor it. This is big. Young Dolph. Rest in peace, man. Rest in peace. Royalty in peace. Stay wise.